Hello there, Vlad here. Welcome to CatPick Fridays, episode number 20. 20 episodes of this, whatever this is, thing. We're doing something differently today because we are moving to a new platform to be able to produce this thing more live. I guess it's not live yet, but something like that. I'm going into the rambling mode right away. As always, thank you so much for listening and watching. Links below to everything we talked about here in the show. And also, I remind you that this episode is available both on YouTube and on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And timestamps in the description. All of those things, I think you know them already. And once again, we are joined by Mr. Richard Morgan, who might be feeling a little bit sad today because Germany lost to France yesterday in the Euro soccer tournament. How are you feeling about that?
I'm devastated.
No,
not really. I mean, I'm not that bothered, to be honest. Germany is like my second team. I have dual nationality, so I'm English and German, but for some reason, the England team has always been the one that I favour. And like, it does come up that England and Germany play each other at certain tournaments, and then I always notice that deep down, my Englishness comes out and I support them, which is annoying because we invariably lose. So there you go. But today I'm all right.
So basically you have a backup.
Live. Yeah, exactly. It's like having a backup team. And Germany as a backup team is pretty good.
Yeah, that's not a bad backup team to have. I mean, they did win the World Championship, was it a couple of years ago? I don't know. There's a gap in 14. That's true,
yeah.
Damn it.
So 7 years ago, but yeah.
Felt like 2 years ago, but who's counting? But we're not alone, as you probably guessed by the title, because Mr. Trey Xavier is here as well, the gear god himself.
Boys.
Hello.
How are y'all doing?
I'm waving. Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm waving.
I'm great. It's 11:15 at night for me. So I'm good, but still like coming down a little bit from a long day. And you guys are just taking off, so we're kind of like we're gonna meet right at the apex point before it all comes crashing down. I can't wait.
Well, the thing behind you looks like a fish tank, but I'm guessing it's not a fish tank. It's just
not
a box
fish
of
tank.
sun.
So I am inside my house. This is my bedroom that you're looking at right now. I put some fancy lights just so that it didn't look like trash. I'm also going to have to do my stream in here this week, my live stream, because I am currently building out my studio, which is the garage of the house. And I finally hit a point where I basically just can't do anything in there because I like have a plastic tarp over the whole over my whole desk with all my like nice computer and gear and everything on it. So it's just not, yeah. I'm about to start doing the what's it called, insulation stuff.
Yep.
And that's just gonna get everywhere. So I have to be super careful about it, So I moved my cabs. Not that the cabs are like gonna get hurt by a little bit of dust, but just to make some more room and stuff and to have a little bit of a backdrop. Although then this is just like trash.
Well, you made it look nice, so all good.
Thanks. Lighting is so important. I spend a lot of money on cameras and lenses and all that, but if your lighting isn't, it doesn't matter. Like this is a $4,000 camera with a like $1,200 lens on it, and it would, if it was too dark, it would, or not just dark, but like badly lit, it would look like trash. So
yep. True.
You guys look great, though. You guys have your lighting game together.
My lighting game is the sun.
That's a good one. The only problem with the sun is the best one, except that he won't stay in one place, so it's not consistent. So you got to make it quick if you're going to shoot something with natural sun. Of course, So your lighting will change over the course of the show. It's dynamic,
which is exciting.
Yes, which is how we would describe Rich anyway, so it just makes sense.
Yeah.
He never stays the same, even during the show, so it's good. I think. All right. We are going to dive into all kinds of topics. Like with Trey, we definitely want to dive into the whole songwriting contest and what it's been like.
Oh, yes.
We've mentioned a couple of your shows here and like weekend watch recommendations because I don't know. For me, it's become like a must watch. It's just, yeah. Let's dive into that one, but I just want to run the recent happenings intro and then move on into this one.
Okay.
Just because I can. Let's do it. Hey!
Happenings.
Yes. Stuff that happened recently. I think your songwriting contest is a recent thing.
Yeah. I mean, it feels like it's been going on since the beginning of time. And that even worse than that, it's going to stretch until the end of time. It's the only event that's just, that's followed the arc of existence since the Big Bang, and then it'll meet at the end of the universe when everything becomes a quantum singularity. 4 seconds before that happens, I'll be like, and the winner is... And they won't even get to collect their winnings. It'll be very sad.
Yeah, no time to ship the amp.
No. I mean, it's coming all the way from Canada. It needs a lot more than 4 seconds to get here.
That's
or
true.
To wherever it's going to go. I say here, it's not coming to me. Who knows where it's going? I have no idea. No earthly clue at this point. I have...
It's mad.
1,335 unread emails in that folder of ones that have been sent, and that's not including all of the ones that I've already watched and reacted to.
So is the plan to go through every song on a video that is?
So the plan has changed a couple times a little bit. First of all, there was no plan. I didn't plan on doing reaction videos to these, but somebody was like, hey, you should do some reaction videos to the entries. And I was like, I don't know. Really? Would anybody watch that? And so I did one, and people went pretty nuts. Most people really enjoyed it. I got some vitriolic hate from it. Like, I mean, if you're on YouTube, if you're out in the world doing anything and you're not getting some of that, you're probably not doing anything that's that cool. You're probably doing something wrong. So people are going to be mad. That's just how it is. But the overwhelming positive response in general was like, okay, guess I should do some of this. And it just happened to coincide with this studio overhaul that I'm doing. So it's easy for me to make that kind of content. And I needed a lot of easy content in this time period anyways, because I can't really shoot in my usual, not my usual spot, in the, in what will soon be the usual spot, which is a 400 square foot garage that I'm building out. That's a whole other can of worms. But it just be perfect timing, because I can shoot a bunch of them over the course of a day. I can shoot like 4 episodes and have basically content for a month. So, and they're super fun, and they're really super silly, and I love being silly. And then Isaac makes me funny in post. But I was not planning on doing that at all. So I've been kind of just winging it. And then, so the first, I don't know, 3 or 4, maybe 5 of them, I would put out the reaction video, and I would, in the next 2 days, I would get between 50 and 100 new entries every time.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, am I just screwing myself here? Because people would watch them, they'd be like, oh, I could do that. Oh, okay. Well, this, obviously the competition's not that stiff, so I could write something better than that. Or they just wanted to troll me and get disqualified. They just wanted to hear me yell disqualified, which is fine. But now it has become clear that I'm not going to be able just do the math. 1,300 songs times 4 minutes each. It's I mean, it'll be 3 years if I put out one a week. So I have instituted the gong. I fully intended to sit there and watch every single one of them. But then at a certain point, you just start going like, oh, wait a second. Like people in the comments are starting to do the math. And they're like, Trey, is this really, are we ever going to find out who the winner is? So I was not expecting this kind of, I thought the barrier for entry was so high that there's no way I would get that many entries.
Yeah, I think you made the show too funny because like even if I would enter with like a completely crappy entry, like I would still get the reaction video and it's fun. Like some of the entries that you've been getting, like it's like I think that there was one guy who had basically like had the whole song had just one like this very weird drum pattern, da 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 or something like that, and it would just repeat and he would just do different segments on top of that same drum loop the whole 4 minutes and stuff like that.
Yeah. Works for disco, but like
Trey, just for the benefit of the few listeners that we have who might not know exactly what we're talking about here, why are you listening to 1,335 songs?
Well, I thought it would be a good idea for the event of reaching 200,000 subscribers on my channel, that I would throw a contest. I would put on a contest, a competition, a songwriting competition. Actually, there's also a giveaway part that I kind of forgot about. I mean, I'm still going to give something away. Maybe I should. Anyway, there's also a giveaway portion which you can no longer enter. So if you haven't, then it's too late. But the big headline is that I'm giving away a Rev head, a Rev generator 100p. Is that right? 100? Yeah, 100p. Yes. And some other cool stuff like a 1-year membership to Nail the Mix, and enrollment in basically all of. Oh my God, there was like a bunch of stuff, and I had to remember how to say it for the for the initial video, and it's such a long list that I don't remember. But it's a cool prize pack that includes pretty much every digital product that I make or am involved in, like my cab IRs and Kemper packs and stuff like that. So there were a bunch of rules that basically the first glut of entries did not follow at all, which made the first couple of reaction videos really fun because I was just like disqualifying people left and right. It's because some people sent them in like literally 3 hours after I announced the contest. I'm like, there's no way that you could have put in more than 3 hours of work into this. Like, even if I do time zone math, like there's no way. So that was kind of fun. But, and I just decided to start doing reaction videos to them. And the reaction videos have been like way more popular than the actual contest video. Like I think the contest video only has like 20,000 views on it, which is a lot, which is good. But like the first reaction video has I think maybe doubled that. I don't know. I haven't really looked at the numbers, but like I was like, oh, okay, so I've just been putting out one a week, and I have now instituted the gong, which means that I'm being very generous. The first two videos that are not out yet, but the first two where I've instituted the gong, I said 90 seconds. So if I know that it's not happening after 90 seconds, then I can hit the gong. I might shorten that. I have also ordered a real gong. There's a gong, a physical gong that I bought on Reaper.
Of course there is.
And that's going to be fun. Because at this point, we've actually had between like, I want to say like 3 and 5 entries that are like light years ahead of everything else. And so I know that if it's not on par with those, I know that you're not going to win within probably a minute. So there's no reason that I should have to torture myself and sit there and listen to 4 whole minutes of an instrumental track in which somebody just like like fucking kill me, God! Like I just annoyed myself. Holy crap! Oh, I've had to listen to so much Riff Salad. It's unbelievable. Anyway, so that's what's going on with that. So it's fun, but at the same time, it's a bit rough. I have to listen to. I hear every song 3 times because I shoot the episode and I hear it. Then I have to listen. I go through the whole thing with Isaac and check all of his edits, so I hear them then, and then I premiere the video and I watch the whole thing again and I hear all the songs again.
You're torturing yourself at this point.
I did it to myself. I did.
Yeah, you did. So what are the criteria by which these songs can win the competition?
Well, I kept that kind of intentionally vague because all I said is that the person who wins will be the person who, or the best song is going to win. I didn't put specific criteria aside from the rules, which are that it can't be over 4 minutes. It can't be something that was previously written. It has to be original and written for the competition. Can't be released. It can't. What are the other ones? I didn't actually have a specific rule that it had to have a top line, but I did say that if it didn't have any kind of top line or a melody or whatever, then it probably wasn't going to win. So I made the mistake of saying that it was okay to put in instrumental instrumental songs, because I was thinking that, like, if I write an instrumental track, like, it has a melody. It always has a melody 100% of the time. Probably. So, like, I just assumed that other people would do that. But I've learned so much about what people think a song is. So, but I was like, it has to be a song. It has to, I'm the sole judge. So the only thing that matters is if I like it, or if I think it's great. I don't have to, because there's no objective criteria by which you can judge a piece of art. It just doesn't exist. Like, and songs like the one that I so far think is way in the lead, I like lost my mind listening to it. It's so good. And there was one guy in the comments section who's like, I cringed so hard I had to turn it off. I thought it sounded like crap. And I'm like, okay, like that's just how it is. Like, no, there's no accounting for taste. So the only criteria is that you please me with the music, that it's good, that I think it's good.
I think that might be the reason why you're getting all of those like 8-string riff salads, because like people think that's what you like because you've been doing that on your channel, but it doesn't mean that that's the only kind of music you want to listen to. It's just like,
yeah,
I don't know.
I said, I did it to myself. I created my own prison. That's a Creed song. I'm sorry if I demonetized you.
It doesn't matter. It's fine. It's not like we're earning millions here anyway. But yeah, so there's like no end in sight for you right now with that one yet, even though you're like.
But it's gonna speed up a lot. Like,
that's good.
I've been trying to, because so far all the reaction videos, it's not just a reaction. I'm not just like, this is shit. I'm like, all right, so here's how you can improve. Like, I'm trying to give real good, useful, actionable advice for the most part. So that makes them very long as well. And I don't know. I've just been trying really hard, and I kind of don't fucking care anymore. I just want to get through it all, and I want to find I have to slog through so much shit that to find the winner is going to be so much work, and it's just because it's clogged up with garbage and like, I think it's doing a disservice to the people who actually tried really hard for me to sit there and be like, okay, well, you have to have a song in your song in order to have a song for me to So if you could just finish the song before you know what I mean? Like I'm just going to be like, now, gong, bye-bye, and just get to the next one. So eventually we'll find some good stuff. But I've been hamming it up really bad. Like I've been like, I want to die. Please kill me. Please kill me. And it's definitely not that bad. I get to sit on my ass and listen to music for a job. So like it could be a lot worse.
But yeah, I get that. Like there's so much to go through. Like
a lot.
But you're 200 something songs in, 300, not even that.
I bet if it's 200, I think I'd be lucky. I've been doing like 5 an episode, and it's only like 8 episodes, so that's like 40 songs. Is that right? 8 times 5.
Could be.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is
Did
every
we just
single
make you
song
even
gonna
more
get featured on an episode?
What'd you say?
Is every single song going to get featured on an episode? with
No,
you?
that's the other thing too. Because I never even said, like, people are like, well, when are you gonna get to mine, bro? And I'm like, I never promised anybody anything. I never promised you. I didn't even tell anybody I was doing these friggin' videos. Like, I just started doing them. Somebody's like, I think they're doing the math, like, because sometimes I'll show like the emails that people send because they're funny or something, and people are like, wait a second, that says it's June 7th. He said he's going through them in order that they were sent. I sent mine on June 6th at midnight GMT. And I'm like, yeah, I probably just skipped you, like, or they'll send me a link and it won't open, like it's private. And I'm just like, anyway, this is my life. It's weird.
Well, I found the episodes very entertaining.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and like I also appreciate you taking the time to actually give people advice on how to improve their songs, because some people have like the basics very well nailed down, but then there's like things like, hey, do you notice that you're just repeating, like especially the thing where people just like repeat the same chorus 3 times without adding anything, like things like that a lot of people don't think of. And I think it's like a sign of a more mature songwriting when you actually like realize and start doing that. So, yeah, you're educating people.
Yeah, it takes somebody telling you, though, and pointing that kind of thing out. Like, I for sure did that a lot, just the copy paste chorus, like riff salad, like part salad, just like through composed, even though it's interesting or good or cool, catchy, whatever. Just like it's not developing an idea, it's just tacking more and more parts on, and I 100% did that. I mean, I've made every mistake. I've done every dumb thing, and that's how I know not to do it, and I'm going to continually improve. Like I almost feel silly putting out a songwriting course. I felt silly putting out a songwriting course before I started the thing, because I was like, I don't know, do I really have that much to offer? And then I was like, oh God, everybody needs this. Everybody needs this a lot. Like, just because I've never written a hit song or whatever, I was a little self-conscious. Like, I care about songwriting more than anything else. It's the thing that I spend the most time thinking about. But is anybody going to care? Like, will anybody pay for this or care? Am I qualified? And I'm like, oh, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. So... And I take songwriting, like I've been watching those like masterclass videos by all the music ones, just like trying to learn about songwriting and producing and stuff. So the only thing that matters is that you keep getting better.
Yep. You talked earlier about how there's no right or wrong answer when it comes to songwriting. The decisions that you're basing your choices on when you watch these things is whether you like something or not. But I think we can all agree on the fact that there are some basic rules, some foundations to songwriting, especially if we're talking about popular songwriting, that are relevant, right? But
yeah.
where do you draw the line between just creating something that sounds best to you and creating a song that other people will want to listen to? Does that make sense as a question?
It doesn't just make sense. It's something that I struggle with constantly on a very fundamental level, both for myself and for what I should tell other people. Because so I also do this Friday stream. Who knows when this might actually even be airing, because it's CatPick Fridays. I might be live right now, because I do a really long live stream every Friday. I don't know what time you guys put this up. Hi, me. Hello, me of the future. You're looking great. Keep on trucking. So I will critique people's songs. They'll send in their song. I will listen to it on the live stream in front of God and everyone, and just basically pick it apart. Like, it's funny because I call it roast. I'm like, roasting your songs live. But really, I'm like, do you think that this part of the song really needed to be there? It feels as though you've sort of just shoehorned it in. I also wear hats, silly hats, and do dumb voices. But a lot of the things that I say, I don't know. It's kind of like that. I'm like, am I just telling them something that's gonna like work in a pop format? Like, is this just putting it in there so that other people will like it, or is this actually going to help them express themselves better and make art that's more personal and helpful? So I waffle a lot, I think, with that. I wrestle with that idea because there's no objective measurement for good or bad art or entertainment. But then there's stuff that people like, and I don't really want to say formulas exactly, but kind of like formulas that work. And there's also, I think you need to hit a certain level in the craft and understanding before you can get a little wild, I think St. Vincent is a pretty good example, partly because I watched her masterclass recently and did a little bit of a deep dive on some of her songs and stuff. And because her philosophy on that is pretty interesting. She was like, basically said the same thing, like, oh, well, I'm trying to make art. I'm trying to make like some wild, crazy stuff and get a message across. She's like, but it also has to be listenable. Like, I'm making like basically pop rock music. And she does a really good job of making stuff that's like cool, catchy, listenable, dancey, sometimes like feels good, sounds good. And then like some weird shit, just like cool, quirky things where she kind of goes off book, and that's kind of the way that I approach it too, is like solid song structure, taking people on an emotional journey. And you can really do that. You take them on a ride. You got to be cognizant of it. And there are certain things that are going to do that. And certain things that I think personally apply pretty generally to all art forms and all music and all media in general. And, allow you to emotionally manipulate the listener, which is the entire point.
Yeah, I get spammed an awful lot with the St. Vincent Masterclass course when I watch YouTube, but the very first line in that advert sums it up for me. I think she says music is about tension and release. And
yeah,
that's what you've just said in a nutshell, I think. Drawing people in and then letting them have that hook that just makes them want to listen to a song again. But it's like, when I think about Gear Gods, when I think about you, Trey, as a musician as well, I think about metal. I don't think about popular songs, and that's where I think maybe some of your viewers struggle possibly when it comes to writing songs. They don't want to do verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, key change. Or do they?
God, I would kill a man with a fork to get a key change. What do I have to do? Somebody give me a key change. Well, yes. And once again, I did it to myself. I mean, so much of what I do on the channel is centered around metal because that's what I listen to more than anything else. But I think metal listeners, metal heads, think that metal is the greatest thing, of course, But I think the reason they think that has more to do with the sound of it than the songwriting, because a lot of it is trash songwriting. Like it's poor, a lot of it is very, very poor songwriting. There are a lot of, I mean, there are some massive exceptions to that rule, and a lot of them do it a lot better than just run-of-the-mill rock bands or some pop stuff. And the main thing is just that they tend to be very close-minded. You know, they tend, like metal fans tend to only listen to metal, and I'm just over here trying to inject a little bit of learning, you know.
Yeah, I'm waving here because I was that kid for like a decade and a half.
There's just so much that you can learn from other kinds of music. Like, forget about whether or not you like it. Just like for a second, don't worry about whether or not you like the sound of a particular genre or a singer or whatever, right? Listen to the song craft, listen to what they're doing, and you can take something from everything and learn a lot and make better songs without even stealing. Like it's stealing, but it's not, you know. Like you can straight up rip a song structure from under someone. It's 100% legal. Literally no one will ever know or notice. Like, probably you can just take like not that there's only so many song structures out there, but like, you know, you can take little tricks and stuff that other people do anywhere, especially if it's from a different genre, and you can just take it and like, if you've only got metal fans and you took it from a samba song and threw it in there, well, who's gonna know? No one. And that's actually just how you make good songs. Like, there's only 12 notes. So, I love metal dearly. I listen to metal all the time. I probably listen to like 80% metal. But like, I listen to top 40 pop. I listen to classical. I listen to jazz. I listen to soundtracks a lot of movie scores and video game soundtracks recently. And I'm just trying to sponge it all up and learn stuff, you know? And then dudes are like, if it doesn't have breakdowns, it's not really music. And I'm like, all right, well, you're not really a musician, so.
Yeah, but I mean, for me, it was an eye opener. Like, on my channel, I think I've read like 50% metal and then some other stuff, or like different versions of metal, I guess, as well. Like, but to me, the eye opener was that when I realized that, hey, like, I can actually apply this kind of pop songwriting type of thing into metal, and that suddenly like makes even like my instrumental songs without any kind of like proper top line interesting, because like with pop music you just keep adding or like removing or changing stuff every like 4 bars or so. And once I started doing that in my songs, it was like, whoa, this is actually like, people actually seem to like these for some reason. It's simple as that, really.
Yeah, you can do that in any format, in any style, and it just works. Exactly. And it's exciting. It makes it more exciting to listen to, and there's no reason not to. Like, yeah, I don't know. I talk to a lot of very, very stubborn people who are like, no, I don't want to. That's why not? Who's gonna? What is there? Some, I don't know. People make up a lot of dumb rules about how they think things should be, and then they stick to them for no fucking reason. Listen to Papa Trey, all right? I'm just trying to beat people into learning new stuff and get better at it. You know, forget everything else. I don't know.
So, how on earth are you able to do 9 hours of live streaming? Like, I think the longest I've been able to watch one of those has been 2 hours, because I was driving for 2 hours. But
you're not supposed to watch videos while you're driving.
Watch live streams while driving.
I mean, I'm not like watching it. I'm
Driving laws.
Correction. I was listening to it while driving. I was not watching it while driving.
I mean, I wouldn't watch a live stream for that long. I don't know why people watch it, but only 9 hours. I did 11 hours a couple weeks ago.
How?
Which is in as many hours more than as you watched total while driving. Well, okay. First of all, how would you like to make $100 an hour, right? If I told you you're going to make $100 an hour to sit on your ass and talk into a microphone, you'd be like, yeah, all right. Yeah. Well, so since I've been doing the contest, the live stream has taken way off, and the donations just keep coming in. And I'm not a rich man. You're a rich man. And I know. No, but so money is a pretty good motivating factor, of course. But it's just so much goddamn fun, and the whole thing it's such a hoot, and I'm making my rent, and I'm helping people to learn more about music, and I'm getting better myself. So I'm integrating all of the stuff that I'm talking about and listening to people's mostly pretty amateur compositions, and it's like it's have you ever heard of ikigai, this idea of it's like something that the world needs, something that you're good at, something you enjoy, something that you do to make money. It's like a Venn diagram of all of those things. There's a couple more that I can't remember. And then right in the middle where all of those things meet, ikigai, your reason for being. I'm not sure that this is necessarily 100% my ikigai, but it feels like it. And we've got a great community, like a lot of, repeat viewers. It's usually like peaks at about 150 people watching it at any given moment. Sometimes more, sometimes less. But a lot of people will come and watch pretty much the whole thing, or like most of it. I have a lot of people being like, they'll come and watch a bit, and then like 8 hours later, they're like, Trey, I went to bed and I woke up and you're still going. And I'm like, well, you live in Europe. What do you want? So, but it's just the best. Like, I want to do it more than once a week, but I'm scared I'm going to burn out the audience. Last week, I was like, if I did this more than once a week, would you guys watch it? Would anybody care? Like, I don't know. Honestly, like even like 2-3 months ago, I had like less than a third of that many people watching. Nobody wanted to get their songs critiqued, even for free. And now I'm like, just to keep the number of entries down, I'm charging $20 a pop in donations to do this. And I think it's a pretty good deal, because if you pay a real producer, number one, no one is going to tell you what I'm telling you for $20 or free. Okay. Like a lot of times, or like every once in a while, we'll get a little troll and they're like, oh, what the fuck have you ever done, bro? Show me your songs. I'm like, okay, well, the guys who are actually writing big hit songs that make a lot of money don't have a class because they have money and they don't care. Okay. But I'm your interpreter, because I can listen to a song and tell you what's going on, because I can hear everything and I took a lot of ear training, and I'm just telling you like what these guys are doing and how you can make it better. So, they're like, it's a pretty good deal for them, and it works out really good for me, because even though each individual person isn't spending that much money, I'm making a good little chunk of change doing the thing that I think that I'm good at. Oh, you guys just switched places. That's confusing.
Yeah, what?
Vlad's just trying to keep it fresh, you know.
Trying to add the visual aspect to the whole thing.
Can we have Trey on the top?
Put me on the top. Make it a pyramid.
Songwriting pyramid.
Go.
So,
whoa.
like this?
For everyone listening to the podcast, this is probably not.
Doesn't make
ideal,
any sense.
We're moving ourselves around on the live
Oh,
video
so this way.
Oh, that's cool. I like it when I'm the big one because I am a fucking narcissist.
I mean, you're the gear god.
Yeah, it's just
the
happy title.
Yeah, we're gear leprechauns or something like that. I don't know.
I feel like I've been yakking a little too much, but like I just it's just so damn cool. Like, how could I stop? How could I not give it everything? You know what I mean? Like I said, it's all of those things, all the things that I like, all wrapped up in one, and I get to play a little bit of guitar.
Yep.
You know, so of course I'm gonna go like I feel like because I have an international audience, I could probably just keep going and people would just keep coming in. Like, if by the time I'm done, people are getting up in your neck of the woods, then it almost is like the whole thing resets. I could just go again, but for Europe.
Yeah, kind of. And especially it will be Saturday for European people. And like Saturday morning is a perfect time to be alive, I think. Because like you're chilling out, like sitting on your couch, watching YouTube or stuff like that. So it's perfect. It worked. Good work.
And so if you're listening to this, I highly recommend that you come and hang out on the live stream on my channel. I do it at the same time every Friday. In fact, because like I said, Vlad, what time do you usually publish your videos?
Like 2-3 p.m. my time, so that's GMT plus 3. So it's like night time for you.
It's 3 o'clock.
Okay, so it's actually Thursday-ish.
Yeah.
Okay, well, anyway, if you're watching this on Friday, it's possible that I am streaming right now on my channel because I start at 1 p.m. Pacific, PST. I went to American public schools, so I don't know what GMT plus or minus that is, but it's but you have Google.
I think we have 11 hours of time difference.
No, I think it's 9.
It's 9.
It's 9,
Actually, it's 9 for me, but 10 for Vlad, because Vlad's 1 ahead of me. Yeah. So if you're in London, UK, you're 8 hours ahead of Trey. If you're in Europe, where I am, 9 hours. And if you're in Finland, you're watching Trey as you drive through Helsinki, and you're 10 hours ahead.
I like how you just left out UK out of Europe now.
Well,
if you're in UK.
Have you been watching the news?
My family and brethren, yeah.
I have.
If you're on the continent.
Yes, exactly.
Not the little island. God, I want to go back so bad.
UK or Europe?
You here?
Both. Apologies
to the UK.
What'd you say? Apologies. So I was on Facebook today, scrolling through, and my friend Joey Concepcion, the guitarist, super sick guitar player, he's just like, yeah, I'm at this guitar store in Sweden. And I was like, how the fuck did you get to Sweden? He was like, oh, I just bought a plane ticket, got a COVID test. I'm vaccinated. I was like, they're letting people just go? I want to go to Europe. What the fuck? There should have been some kind of announcement or something. I could just go. Is that true? Can I just go to Europe now?
Well, Finland is at least doing pretty well, so I think yes. You probably need to have
definitely you could come across, bring your camera equipment, and say that you were doing your job, and that would be absolutely no problem whatsoever. Shoot a couple of YouTube videos, and you're good.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't even be a lie. Like, I'm always working all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know what I figured out, actually, is that my passport expires at the end of the month. So I currently don't have one. I sent it out to get renewed or whatever. It's a little nerve-wracking. You go traveling and you're supposed to guard your passport like it's your life, and then they're like, Oh yeah, you could just put it in an envelope and mail it to us. It's fine.
What?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
That sounds safe.
hopefully I got it expedited, so hopefully within 6 weeks I'll be able to travel. I won't be coming to visit either of you. I'm just kidding, I will.
Ah, shit, lad, he's coming. They're gonna have to bake a cake.
I'm out of town at that point.
I'm
Yeah,
just
we're
not going to
hunting
bring any
moose in
luggage
Finland.
this time. Finland is very high on my list of places to visit because it's the next big Scandinavian country that I have not yet gone to.
Which ones have you been to?
Norway and Sweden. It's the
It's the
metal.
only one you haven't been to, that isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
the metal.
okay.
It's the metal trio: black metal,
Yeah.
mellow death, power metal. And I, went to Norway, hung out with Leo. Norway is the most beautiful place I've ever been. Oh,
I
by a
agree.
lot. Holy crap! Nobody's like, we're going on vacation to Norway. Well, you should. Sweden was a hoot. Got to hang out with my favorite band in the world, and then Finland. I am a power metal maniac. In Finland, there's so many great power metal bands there. I mean, I don't think I'm just gonna like meet them like on the street, but like I want to go and like soak up the culture a little bit, from like 50 feet away, which is how close they get to each other. Finnish people are not very social.
No, but when you start talking about metal, then I think it's like you break all the barriers at that point, and then it's just
And
I'm
they
gonna
start
make
a
people
circle
so
too.
uncomfortable.
Just-
Yeah, just start a bit.
on a random bus station somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh man.
yeah. When you're
But
coming
it must
here,
be almost,
let me
it's
know.
like- yeah, you can show him around in Finland, but I was going to say
Oh,
it must be
absolutely.
it's almost 2 years since you were last in Europe, isn't it, Trey? When you came over for Spirit Con and
Yeah.
to play 035 in front of 20,000 people to flex on Rudy.
Oh, you saw
Highlight
that?
of your career thus far, yeah.
Holy shit! Can you believe that video is by a wide mile the most popular thing that I've done in a very long time. It's not doesn't have the most views out of any video on my channel, but it's the one that has the most views that I'm actually in. And for some reason it just keeps going. And actually it started taking off even more recently for no readily apparent reason. I don't know. It's of course, the thing that I would put the least amount of effort into, the shortest thing, the stupidest thing that would be the most popular. But yes,
Yep.
it's like 1.5 million views now. And I don't even know. Like, people watch it and they're probably just like, why did YouTube recommend this to me? What the fuck just happened? That was a great trip though. I mean, aside from losing my luggage for 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, I forgot that part as
shit,
well.
Yeah, I forgot about that part. Mhm.
Oh, you guys forgot about it. I should have just let it sleeping dogs lie. It was a great time. And even if I was guaranteed to lose my luggage again, I would still go back. I'll do it again. I don't give a fuck. I want to go. I just miss Europe. It's crazy. Like you go back so many times, and every time you make new friends and then new friends, and after at a certain point you're just like, oh my god, I have so many friends that I haven't seen in so long. And I mean, Germany especially, just because I toured there the one time, and then like going to the various different German little YouTube conventions, like SpiritCon and Henning's thing, and it's too late for me to remember what the Toman one is called. Toman
Did you?
Gearhead University. Thank you. Yeah. And yeah, I got so many homies there.
Yeah.
And apparently I
2020
could have just gone. Apparently I could just fucking go now. So once my
Might
passport comes in, Goodbye, America.
Yeah, I think we talked about this with Rich in one of the episodes, but like 2020 sucks not only because, well, the apparent thing, but also it broke my, like, I don't know, like, like every year since 2014, I had been to Germany at least once per year. Some years actually like 4 times in 1 year, something like that. Last year I didn't go there single time. Sucks. Like I got to the point where I could like sit in like surrounded by a bunch of German people talking in German, and I would understand like 80% of what they're saying without like, you know, having anyone to translate what's going on. Like that's how much the whole German, like being in Germany that many times affected me, and I'm afraid I've lost that skill. It would be very sad.
Too. I probably don't understand that much, but when I was there for a month, I went with Jen Majura to the Pop Academy in Mannheim. And because she was like, "Oh, I'm doing like a master class there. You should come hang out." And I was like, "All right." So I hoofed it like all the way across the country to go hang out with Jen. And I show up, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna be speaking German the whole time." And I was like, "Jen," but I sat there and I like just paid super close attention and like listened really hard, and I got like half of it probably. Yeah. In between context clues and just like, you know, having been at that point in Germany for a couple of weeks, I was like pretty on it, you know, and I think I probably got a little more than half. So, but yeah, if I did that today, I'd probably be like, got to get it back.
Yeah.
Immersion.
But I wonder why it is that Germany is like the #1 European country for YouTube stuff. There's nothing going on in France. There's not much going on in Spain or Italy. I mean, Scandinavia has a few of you guys doing stuff. Obviously, the UK has people, but why is Germany like the hub?
That is a great question.
Is it all because of Henning?
Do you think Henning just is the hotspot? He created
I think he's a hotspot.
He just like draws people to him.
Yeah, I wouldn't probably say it's just Henning. He definitely played a big part in that, but also like before Henning started hosting his events, or like before all the GitCons and stuff like that happened, like a lot of the guitar festivals and like, you know, all these conventions had been happening in Germany for some reason. Maybe it's like in the perfect middle, so it's easy to come from France. It's easy to fly from Finland, like it's a 2-hour flight, if that. It's like pretty
good
easy
airports.
To get to.
And Wacken for the metalheads.
Yeah, that is true.
But like, you would think, I mean, Germans are known for having shitty English, right? Like, they're not very good at speaking English. I mean,
that was really offensive.
You haven't been to Finland yet, so
that's true. Although actually I found France to be worse, but I was only there for a few days. But I guess you would think that it would be a country that had like really good international, like I don't know. I'm totally spitballing here. I can't think of any good reason aside from Henning. It might just be Henning. I guess actually, in my experience, Germans speak pretty okay English in general. Like the average person on the street, if you go up to them and say like, "Es tut mir leid, mein Deutsch ist nicht so gut. Sprechen Sie English?" They'll be like, "Oh yes, hi friend, I do speak some English." And you can like get through a conversation. In France, they're like, they won't give you 1 second. They'll be like, "No, bye," and just keep walking.
Yeah, that's my experience in France. And sorry to anyone from France watching this, but like, I would go to, me and my wife were like a subway station, or like trying to buy tickets, and I go like, excusez-moi to parler anglais. So do you speak English? No. And then she just closed the door in front of us. Like, thanks.
Yeah, I mean, I lived in France for 2 years and worked there, and I speak French as well. And my experience with the French is that if you start in French, if you try and then have to resort to English, they're okay. But if you go up to someone and talk in English or talk in another language, they're a closed book straight away.
Wow. That's wild.
But that's not what you experienced, Vlad. So I don't know.
Dude,
Yeah.
Germans love it if you try to speak German. They fucking love it. That's how I made all of my German friends. Just like speaking shitty German, trying to get them, because I have like a pretty good accent. That's what they always say. Oh, your accent is very good. And even though like I know a ton of words, but the sentence structure is just a nightmare. So, you know, and they seem to think it's cute. Like some countries are like, they're like, you are butchering our language. Please stop. Germans are like, oh, I'm going to teach you so many words.
Well, they're going to do well in Finland because Finns absolutely love when someone tries to learn even a single word of Finnish. Though they will probably teach you just the swear words first and then some real stuff. but also with Finns, it's like I'd say we have a fairly good education system, and like everyone is just so freaking super excited when they get to use their English, which is actually a problem for my friends who are like from US or somewhere, and they want to learn the Finnish language, and nobody wants to speak Finnish to them because the Finns are excited to speak English.
They want to flex.
Finally, I can use my English for something, and yeah, they're going to do well in Finland once that will happen. Can't wait.
Trey, what is your opinion of European songwriting? I mean, I find specifically that German music and French music are very, very different. And I also find that British metal is differentiated from American metal in certain ways. Is that something that you found?
Yeah. Well, actually, usually in pretty much every way, European metal is more melodic. And I don't just mean that it's more like diatonic and nicey sounding. It's just it just has a much more it feels a lot more directional to me, and it feels like they really care about having memorable, easy to sing along with, even if it's not like a nice pretty melody, even if it's like an evil sounding melody, like more so than American bands. They've got it, and that's probably why I gravitated towards it much more so in general than American bands. And I don't really know where that comes from. American metal runs the gamut, of course, and presuming that it's not a band that's just trying to sound like a European band, they can be a little bit more like a little more caveman-esque, a little more bludgeoning and lacking in top line, like I said. But yeah, that's how I find it. I mean, between countries in Europe, I mean, let me think. Well, of course, like I think that power metal songwriting is usually the kind of the closest to like more typical run-of-the-mill pop song structure. I mean, I'm thinking of like Sonata Arctica, and bands like that, who even if they have like progressive tendencies, they tend to have big sexy hooks, big sing-along choruses, with a ton of stuff going, tons of harmonies and layers and woes and stuff you can really sing along with. And that's a lot of Finnish bands have that going on. Nightwish, others that I can't think. Children of Bodom, even though that's like death metal vocals, they still had a lot of that kind of cool, tons and tons of melody. Like it's mostly lead guitar and keyboard melodies. And then let me think. I'm trying to think of, like you mentioned Spain. I can't off the dome think of a metal band from Spain.
Nope, me neither. Vlad, anyone on your radar?
I'm.
Wait, no, Angra is from like Brazil or something.
Yeah, they're from Brazil. I can think of a billion.
Yeah, I'm completely blanking out for like a Spanish.
Not from Spain. I know they exist, of course, but like There's and then Italy. There's some sick. Actually, a lot of power metal bands from Italy too.
Oh yeah, definitely. But they're different from what we get from Finland. There's a
Yeah,
it must be where people come from, you know. It's where you grow up as well influences you. You know, think about Florida and Southern California and the pop punk scenes that came from there. Can you imagine Less Than Jake or Newfound Glory if they'd grown up in Finland? Would they be making the same music? My guess is no.
Wait a second. Is Newfound Glory the one that's from? Okay. They're from Florida.
Less Than Jake.
Who's the fucking band that
I guess Newfound Glory are from California. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they're
you're right. They were from
Orange County, maybe. I don't know.
No. Newfound Glory was from Florida. You were right. God, I was thinking of what the hell is? There's a famous French pop punk band. It's not Newfound Glory. Anyway, never mind.
Yeah, there is with metal vocals. They're pretty good.
Anyway, but right, like, so like, yeah, like the little scenes. I've been thinking about this a lot too lately because I keep getting these questions from people who are like, "What subgenre is this? What genre? What subgenre? What?" And it makes me cringe all the way inside of myself because I think that means that you're thinking about it completely ass backwards, because what actually happens is that there's one artist, usually like the songwriter in the band, who determines the direction of the music that they want to make. They sit down and they just discover something cool, like something that hasn't been done yet. Like, okay, like In Flames, all right, is like, okay, so there's death metal, like Morbid Angel and shit like that, and they're like, this is really cool and evil sounding, and I like the vocal sounds, but what if instead of everything's tritones and half steps and evil diminished sounds, we make it sound nice and pretty and put melodies in it? And then they were like, oh, melodic death metal, and then there was this thing, and then a bunch of bands copied them. I don't know that it was In Flames. I'm just using them as an example. That's probably a bad example.
I'd say In Flames was like one of the first ones to do it.
Yeah, and then there's all these bands that came from the Gothenburg scene, right? Like Dark Tranquillity, Soilwork, In Flames. I could keep going, but it's too late and my brain is fried. But like,
At the Gates are. No, they're all
At the Gates was like the first one, but I don't really think of them as being melodic death metal. They have like the like kind of semi-melodic riffs, but they don't. It's not like those other three bands that I named. Like, and actually, I don't know if you ever heard this hilarious story. Dark Tranquillity. Oh fuck. Is it Dark Tranquillity and In Flames? They switched lead singers at one point. Like this guy used to, Anders Frieden, I think, was in. Fuck, is it Dark Tranquillity? I probably should have looked it up, but anyway, like, so that's how incestuous the scene was. You know what I mean? That's how close they're like, and so. I mean, when it's that close in time, you're not going like, oh, they copied them. Then you go, oh, it's a scene. Oh, it was this like scene of a growing melodeath scene in Gothenburg. But really, it's like people who are friends, they're close, they go to these shows, they see their friends play this thing, and they're like, oh shit, that's cool. I want to do that. And it's, you know, the bands define the genre, and then people hear it. And they're like, I'm going to start a melodic death metal band, a project, you know, and instead of like making the kind of music that they should make, like what's the next thing that's going to happen? They're just like, I'm going to do this band. My music is this genre. And then they just like put these arbitrary limitations on their art. And that pisses me off to no end. I'm like, cool. Why would anyone listen to you when Dark Tranquillity exists? You know, like.
Plus, pigeonholing like that, it gives you so many inherent limitations as a band. If someone comes in with an idea and it's not in that little genre, you're like, no, we can't do it.
Yeah. That is insane to me. That sounds like an insane person's way of thinking of creating art. Like, what? I don't know. I think limitations breed creativity in a lot of ways, but if you're just arbitrarily imposing them on yourself, I don't know. Like how? Yeah. I call those kinds of bands worship bands, not to be confused with like contemporary Christian worship music, which is the worst music ever created, but the like bands that just exist to sound like other bands. And I get a lot of those, as submissions, both to the contest and to the critiquing on Fridays. And I'm like, look, like, even if you're doing a pretty good job of this, there's a band out there that you're trying to sound like who's doing it 10 times better with way better production and way better written songs. So when people hear this, they're just going to go like, oh, okay, that sounds like Nevermore, but not as good. So why would you listen to it? Even if it's good, like being good that's like step 0.5. You haven't even gotten to step 1 yet, just because you sound good. And I think metal bands forget that. It's hard to you get caught up in how awesome metal sounds. Metal is an incredibly powerful sound. Like a guitar with that much distortion and like really good production, hitting hard with the bass and the kick drum, like doing awesome heavy riffs and awesome. It just, even if it's kind of a shittily written song, it's awesome to listen to. But that's like, you can't just do that. That's just a drug. That's just taking metal the drug. You know what I mean? You're like, I have to have more loud. Give me the loud. Like, no, give me a song that's also the loud.
Yeah. And like, that's one of the things that drew me to metal is like this extreme range of emotions you can put into that. But then I feel like, I don't know, I think a good way to start your songwriting journey is to like, okay, I want to write this type of song and then just learn how to do it. But then like, I feel like what you're talking about is like people kind of sandboxing themselves into that. Okay, so this is the only things that I'm allowed to do. I can't take my metal song and add this Latin influence into it, or like some like pop thing into one of the sections or stuff like that. Like, yeah. I was that kid, so I can so relate to that. And
Same.
Something that opened it for me was like, I can I can listen to metal and then go to film scores and then just listen to, I don't know, Taylor Swift or something, which is like super well produced pop. And I can like all of those things. And I've noticed that because I've allowed myself to like those things over the years, I'm not 15 anymore. I'm not that limited in what I listen to. I've actually started to pick some influences from there, and I feel it makes my songs more interesting. Just because I don't limit myself to any of that.
Yeah, I figured out that, I guess I just sort of, probably because I didn't know that many metalheads growing up until basically until college, really. I mean, I had some like metalhead friends in high school, but I just assumed that metalheads would be very open-minded and that metal, like the metal genre, especially because I listen to a lot of progressive metal too, that would take a lot of influences from lots of different stuff. I was just like, oh, okay, this is kind of a free-for-all, like, cool, everybody's going to be into all kinds of stuff. Metal musicians, the big one, like touring national, international bands, like signed or successful, those people listen to lots and lots of different stuff. Especially, I think if your whole life is metal like that on a professional level, after a while you're like, all right, I need to listen to some fucking country. Like, I need to listen to something else. And their tastes are very diverse. But metal fans are super, super close-minded as a whole, as a group. And that bugged me so much that I that I went like way the other direction. I was like, all right, I don't fucking care what you think about it anymore. I mean, I went to school for music. I got my music degree. Oh, what flexing? Yeah. But I because I wanted to learn about more different things, more different styles of music, more different ways that I can make music, and so that I could go back and make metal cooler and more interesting, because I never really, even though I love it, once again, a lot of the times it's just not that fucking interesting. Like it's cool, but it's boring. And yeah, that like allowing yourself to like other stuff is the first step in making it more exciting. Even if you're only going to play metal, like the reason that so many little splinter subgenres of metal exist is because like one or two people were like, oh, what if I try this thing and just add it in? And then all of a sudden there's a whole like splinter faction of bands that are doing the same thing, like pirate metal, Viking metal. You know what I mean? Like there's multiple bands whose whole theme is pirates. You know, like more than one band. Like there's enough room for there to be several pirate themed metal bands that are like reasonably popular. Same with like Viking metal or whatever. Like, and so, but then dudes are like, I only listen to Viking metal. I only listen to pirate metal. And it's like, okay, but the guy who made pirate metal was really creative and inventive and interesting and was trying to bring in new stuff. He didn't do that so that you could just only listen to that and make more of that. Like, if pirate metal is cool, what about the next thing that you're about to combine with metal? Won't that be also cool and interesting and make you unique and make, you know, like samba metal? Here it comes. And you're famous. Instead of being the 17th pirate metal band that's not as good as the fuck is it? What is the pirate metal band? The big one.
Oh,
I keep wanting to say Swashbuckle, but that's the other one. For fuck's sake, I'm sitting in front of the computer. Let's just Hailstorm.
Oh, that's true.
The big one. And they're super sick, of course. But like, you know, like I think they were probably the first. But you see what I'm saying? Like if you want people to give a shit about your music, you have to give them something unique. And there's just so many copycats in metal. Well, I actually think it's a compliment for that in metal, because metal is so awesome that it inspires people to pick up instruments. Not a lot of other genres do that. Like, I mean, to some degree, but I think metal has an outrageously high percentage of musicians per capita. It seems to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna say like hip hop or rap music might be the second one. Obviously, it's a very different approach, but a lot of people in my like vicinity, I guess, like a lot of friends, relatives and stuff like that, have started doing that, because especially now with the technology, like it's easy to create like beats and songs in your basement, in your spare bedroom, as I'm doing here. And yeah, that might be the second one. I can't think of any other two genres though that would do that though, the same way at least.
Yeah. I don't know. I like, and actually, you know what? I just thought of this. This is kind of funny because metal, the common complaint about hip hop from metal is they're like, oh, it's not even like real music. Like just like talking over a little fake drums. And I'm like, yeah, but they have the one thing that makes the song a song, which is a top line. And you're over here sending me an 8-string riff salad trash, being like, it's a song, well, give me an amp. Like,
yeah, I always think every metalhead tried to do a rap line. It's not as easy as you think.
No,
yeah, new metal has a lot to answer for, doesn't it?
And it's coming back apparently. So,
Oh, man, that was always such a disappointment to me because love hip hop, love metal. There's been very, very few that have had really good metal and really good hip hop, like good rapping together. I actually think the best one still is Bring the Noise. Bring the Noise by Anthrax and Public Enemy, which is like 1987 or some shit. And it's still so good because it's just Anthrax, who are good metal, and then Public Enemy, who are great at rapping, doing a song together instead of like white guy from the wrong side of the tracks who has some friends who play instruments and can I always thought Linkin Park had the worst rap ever. I mean,
I was just thinking of Linkin Park as well. Like, I like the band, but like
great
the
songs,
yeah,
but
it's like hip hop light.
Yeah.
And I love Linkin Park. Just to add, like,
yeah, just in case.
Just in case. You never know nowadays. As we found out with Rich and our Rick Beato episode.
What happened?
We made an episode on his signature Gibson guitar, and he ended up watching the thing and commenting on it.
Well, that's a what is it called? A occupational hazard in our line of work. You don't want to talk too much trash unless you're prepared to back it up. But yeah, that's
the good thing is we only said nice things.
Oh, good.
Almost exclusively nice things.
Yeah. I only met Rick for like 5 seconds at NAMM, and I want to get to know him better.
I just saw him walk by.
When he was there?
What did you say, Rich?
Were you not at the GitCon when Rick was there? No,
you
can't have been if you didn't meet him. Because he was at the second GitCon. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I didn't go to the second GitCon. I was a conscientious objector because
after
Henning and I should have gone anyways. No offense to Henning. I should have just gone. Whatever. Fly me to Germany. I don't care. I'll give up all my morals. But
just to get to Germany.
I didn't know that he went to that one. That's wild.
He did. There was a bunch of big people at that one. And the same with the second Thomann TGU. They went big. They got the big boys. Paul Davids.
Oh, yes. I went to
large channels I spontaneously can't think of the names of.
Adam Neely was... Wait.
He was at both GitCon or TGUs, I think. Yes?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, Adam Neely and Rick Beato did one of those GitCon, like evening masterclasses. Do you remember they had the jam sessions in that little bar?
Yes.
Afterwards, they did a live masterclass afterwards. It was pretty exciting.
Cooler. The jams were a little awkward. It was fun.
Yeah.
I think I mainly just wanted to go to sleep.
That was the problem with the GitCon.
I didn't want any more music.
Yeah, it's like you're starting at 9 o'clock. You're creating videos and content until 6 or whatever.
Yeah.
Half an hour dinner break, and then you're expected to jam and do live streams as well till about 10:30. That's full on. Yeah.
Oh, I feel like we were going somewhere though.
Songs.
We talked about hip hop and new metal and stuff. I was going to ask you, Trey, on that kind of note, who are some of the most innovative songwriters for you today that you would recommend that our viewers check out? It can be metal, it can be pop, it can be anything that you would recommend.
Well, that's a great question. I mean, I am perpetually stunned at Max Martin's ability to continually write fresh sounding massive pop hits and basically churn them out. I mean, we're talking like he wrote Hit Me Baby One More Time, or no, Oops, I Did It Again, maybe both, I don't know. I mean, the dude's worth $400 million as far as I know. He was in a metal band. I don't know if he is a metalhead, but he's like the sound of pop music. He's genre-less. Like I say pop music, but like he's written for Britney Spears and some boy bands, but also for Taylor Swift and like Taylor Swift's pop songs. He wrote my like second or third favorite pop song of all time, which is Shake It Off with Taylor Swift, which doesn't sound anything like her older stuff. You know what I mean? Like totally transformed her on that album. But you listen to the song and it's weird. Like it's got this like little horn, like a little tuba or a trombone line, just like ba 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 ba. Like it's weird. And that to me is like how you make something unique sounding while still being super catchy, very listenable, very pop oriented. And I'm trying to think what else he's written lately. Oh, he did the I don't want to say that talk on my. I'm pretty sure that he did this. The Weekend Blinding Lights, which was like consistently on the charts for a year or something. I'm gonna check.
And I think Max Martin, doesn't he have like the record of the most #1 records on the Billboard charts ever or something now, overtaking the Beatles? I think it was a few years ago. It's about 50 songs, I think.
Could be easily. Didn't he write Umbrella as well for what's her name? Rihanna. Yeah.
Well, I believe Umbrella. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like that's crazy to me that you can do that for 20 plus years in so many different styles. Like people think that pop music is a genre, is a genre at all, or is just like, oh, it's just so formulaic and all this. But like there's no consistency in pop music at all. It's all completely different all the time. Like you can turn on pop radio right now and hear like reggaeton. You can hear like weird, like kind of like ambient poppy kind of like really weird shit, that stuff that's way weirder than metal. You know, like if you turn on metal, like a random metal radio, like Pandora station or something, like you can expect to hear heavy guitars with a lot of distortion. You can hear like slamming drums and aggressive vocals, and then other stuff. But like I never know what I'm gonna hear on pop radio. So that's one guy. Who else can I think of? The thing is, like, when I think of pop, I think more about the songwriters and the producers than the artist. And even then I can't think of anything off the top of my head. But Dua Lipa, her, what is the song called that I was thinking? Don't Show Up, I think that's the name of it. Don't like that song is all backwards. Like everything about it is backwards from how the usual song structure will go. Normally, big chorus, right? Like lots of stuff happening during the chorus. That one, the verse has everything. When it gets to the chorus, it's just the drums, a bass line, like a funky bass line that's busy, and the vocal, and that's it. And it's a banger. It's weird as hell. You listen to it, it's kind of disco-y feel to it, kind of like a kind of a disco thing. And disco usually had some pretty busy happening bass lines, but then just nothing else, like just the vocal, and it's very stark. It's really cool. That's different. It's not like Yoko Ono different. I don't know.
Out of all of the references you could come up with, that's the one you went with.
Well, I just think like when I think of like random weird shit to throw on top of a song or whatever, you know, like Yoko Ono's weird banshee screaming is pretty weird. Like it or hate it or whatever. Like it's definitely something.
Yep,
Just
I totally agree.
Pure, raw, emotional, whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
I listen to plenty of music that is mostly screaming, so people think I'm nuts.
No, but that's also like the thing. Like we talked about the European genres. I'm going back a little bit because, like, even that, like somebody like going the other way around. Like some of my friends who are not metalheads, like dismiss every single music style, like metal style that has screaming. Even though if we, especially like I think Norwegian bands and some Swedish bands do that, where like there's growl vocals or screaming vocals, but then you pair it with like a beautiful like piano melody. Actually, I think you had a song like that on your contest as well, and it was like, this is like the most emotional and beautiful thing I've heard in a while. Even though it's like guys screaming and there's a bunch of like low-tuned guitars going on, but then there's this sad piano and like you felt the sadness of the song. So like, do that.
Yeah,
convey some emotions to the listener.
I think.
By the way, this is a perfect transition to talk about your upcoming songwriting course as well.
Transition. It is. Well, let me tell you about my songwriting course that's upcoming. Vlad and Rich. The Trey Xavier method.
Is that how it's called?
No, it's not called that. I actually don't know. I've been mulling the idea of calling it the complete rock and metal songwriting. Is that what I was going to call it? I don't know. I wrote it down. My brain is partly outsourced to the Notes app on my phone so that I don't have to actually remember things. I just write them down and then I'm allowed to forget it because it syncs to all my devices in the cloud. But, well, so like I was saying before, I care very deeply about songwriting and I love it. And I think because of that and because I listen to so much rock, metal, and pop, classical, jazz, the fancy pants music, as well as the music of the people of pop. And I came up listening to a lot of punk and like, and then I went on to music school and I learned all of the like proper traditional ways of doing things, but am still immersed in the rock and metal genre. Like I think that makes me the most qualified to translate these ideas for people, you know, not necessarily to be like, this is how you should do it, but to go, okay, this is a bunch of cool things that people are doing in all these other styles that you can use in rock and metal. And even the most popular rock and metal bands that you're listening to and that you love are doing these things. Why aren't you also doing them? You don't have to do them in such a way that it sounds like them. That's easy. You just rip them off, like just take their formula and do it. That's not that hard to do. But how do you make it unique? And how do you have a bag of tricks so that when you're writing a song, you won't ever have to worry about writer's block or being stuck, because you'll have a million different things that you could do at any given moment. And then on top of this, so it's a bit chaotic. Vlad, you explained a bit about your songwriting course to me and how it's very stepwise and like very organized and all this. So in my course, I actually sit down and I write a whole song, start to finish. And I take a lot of left turns throughout. Like I'll, for example, for each part of the song, I show a different way that you can start, like a different thing that you can start from. For example, the bridge, I just write some chords, like just some whatever chords on the piano, and then I write the bridge on top of that, and then I like write a guitar part to follow that and all that, and then like the verse, I start with a guitar riff. The chorus, I started with the lyrics, I think, and the vocal melody. And so it's, I think that, I mean, not to, well, I'll say for me, going about it with any kind of formula doesn't really make any sense. Not necessarily a formula, but like a step-by-step method, because the inception of the idea always hits me at a different angle. I'll get hit with a different bit of inspiration from something, like maybe it's a drum beat, maybe it's a guitar lick or a bass line. So I couldn't be like, oh, I have to go back to step one to do, you know what I mean? And I say this in the course, but I'm like, I can't give you a step-by-step because that to me doesn't make any sense. I don't know if that's just the way that my brain works, but what you really have to do is learn how to go anywhere from anywhere else to finish the thing, because you're gonna get the inspiration if you have opened your mind to the possibility of inspiration, that it could happen at any time. It could come from anywhere. Then you also have to be able to go anywhere from there to get to a completed finished song. So, and you have to step outside of time and look at the song as a whole, and not just experience it linearly, like the way that people who are listening to your song are going to experience it, because you're the roller coaster tycoon. You're building the ride for them to go on. So I do all of this in pretty great detail. It's going to be a very long course. And then, so it's a lot of it is me sitting there writing the song, talking about how I do it, how I'm doing it as I'm doing it, you know, and why I'm making certain choices, and just about how songwriting is just a series of choices that you're making at any given moment. And then all of my extensive philosophies on songwriting will be sprinkled in. I actually haven't filmed that part yet. It's going to be like a combination of super hands-on, actually actionable things, showing you how I'm doing it as I go. And then just me sitting there filling in the gaps with the philosophy, like galaxy brain part of it. And the broader zoomed out part of it, which I'm sort of stylizing after the many masterclasses that I've watched. Because it's funny, you know, I really love those masterclasses. I personally think that the price of entry is really worth it. I heard a lot of people complain about them because they're like, oh, you don't actually learn how to do the thing. It's just them talking about whatever. And I'm like, do you know what a masterclass is? Like a masterclass, like you don't learn how to play an A chord in a masterclass, because that's not for master. That's not from you don't need a master to teach you how to do that. You need your local yokel guitar instructor who can show you where to put your fingers. You don't need Santana to show you how to do that. But I also want to give people really concrete, actionable things. So it's going to be kind of coming at it from both of those angles throughout the entirety of the course. I've already shot like 40 hours worth that will probably boil down to between 15 and 20 hours. And that's, so I shot all of that first so that I would know what I have to say in the rest of it. So that's the next thing that I have to do. I have a notepad that's like, you know, with all the ideas that I'm going to be covering in the philosophy portion. So yes, complete rock and metal songwriting. But I'm very excited about it. And it was just nice to be able to word vomit for like everything that I know about songwriting and everything, all of my thoughts on it, all in one big long thing, because I put little bits and pieces of it throughout my YouTube videos and talk about it a lot on Fridays. But a lot of it has been influenced by that, like people sending me in their songs and stuff, and me being like, oh, this is something that I have to talk about. Like, this is something that you guys need really bad. So,
do you cover lyrics in that, or is it just the musical side?
I do, not as much. I do talk about lyrics. I think lyrics is tough. It's less, I mean, I talk about lyrics, but less from like a how to say what you're thinking, and more like make it sound good with like syllabic structure and like how to make it sound more musical. I mean, I love my lyrics, of course, that I write for the songs that I love, that I write, and I care about them a lot. But I realized that just recently I've been realizing that I kind of do it. That's the thing that I do that is the most formulaic, is when I write lyrics. I do it basically the same way every time, and I don't even realize it. I don't think about it. I just do it a certain way. So I don't, there are definitely a lot of people who have a lot more to offer on that front. I do talk about it, and it's weird because I guess because I care about it a lot, but it's the thing that's the hardest to sort of, I don't know, because it's so personal, you know, and there's so many things that people are doing with lyrics and vocal melodies these days that's so unique and weird and doesn't work with any kind of traditional song structure, that I think if I were to try to tell people how to do it, it wouldn't really make any sense. I don't know. Like Billie Eilish is like a great example. And a lot of other just top 40 stuff, doing a lot of really weird, like really cool melody things. My friend Sahaj, from the band Raw, who's a producer now for like a lot of like active rock bands and stuff like that, pointed this out to me. He's like, if you notice, like a lot of modern artists, they won't land their phrases, like they don't go up and then go back down. They like won't resolve them, and it like pulls you through the whole song. It's just like strings you along. And I was like, holy shit, I never noticed that. And then I started hearing like older songs where they kind of go up and then go back down, going up and then going back down. And I was like, oh my God, that's so boring. The best example, this is not a modern example, but he pointed out, which is Fool on the Hill by the Beatles. It just never lands. It just goes up and up and up and up and up and up and up forever and ever. And it's like absolute fucking genius. Probably one of the greatest songs ever written. But on a smaller scale, a lot of pop artists are doing that these days. And like weird phrasing and stuff, really unique phrasing. Actually, I heard a song on the radio. The girl from, not Ipanema, the girl from Rio is the name of the song. And I thought it had the worst phrasing, the fucking worst lyrics and vocal phrasing I've ever heard on the radio in my life. I don't remember the name of the artist. I only heard it once, but I was just like, huh? What? And the DJ was like, this girl is blowing up, taking over the world. It's so-and-so. And I was like, with this trash? Okay. But lyrics are kind of a weak point for my teaching. Yeah. So that was a very long way of saying yes, but only a little.
Yeah. So Rich, you're the only one of three of us who doesn't have a course yet, and I know that you're a writer. Heck, your channel is called Rich Words Music. We just found the course for you to make.
There you go, huh? There you go.
What are we?
I'm not an amazing lyricist, but I guess I come to it more from a literature and poetry side, which is a different challenge when writing songs. You know, I look to people, you know, going back to people like Lennon and McCartney, for example, and people like Bob Dylan, the folk explosion. And then when you come to more modern artists that I like, I do tend to go for those people who write stories in their songs, which I think is a lot more old school than what you'd see in the top 40 or the Billboard right now. But that's just my kind of thing. And lyrics are something that I find very difficult. And also the idea of having a pre-existing poem that you want to put to music, or having some riffs and chords that you want to put lyrics and melodies to. That's another massive challenge in songwriting. So that's another question for Trey. In terms of writing songs, in terms of writing music and lyrics, how do you do it personally? Do you have music first and do words come after? Do you have words that you put to music? Or do they come together?
That's a great question. I love that question because I have so much to say about it. So I tend to be most inspired by a little lyrical phrase, like a little, just a couple words, and they have a certain, either a little cadence to it or a cool rhythm. And I usually start with just a small chunk, like a phrase, a couple of words, and I usually will build off of that. The way that I go about it is crazy cakes. I'll sit there in Pro Tools with the keyboard, a guitar, a microphone, my little drum pad sometimes, and I'm jumping back and forth between all the different things that I'm making as I go. And I tend to, because I usually write the whole thing, soup to nuts, like I'll write every guitar, bass, drums, vocals, keyboards, everything to some degree, even if it's just like little placeholder things. I'm thinking of it holistically. So I kind of like, it's all coming to me at once, you know. At a certain point, if you do this enough, it kind of like shifts to where, rather than hearing individual little pieces at a time, you hear it as a complete thought, and then it's like this mad scramble to get it down into the DAW so that you don't forget it, and then the rest of it is just refining it. But like I said, I'll get inspiration from anywhere and everywhere. So I have written, well, I don't usually write a whole instrumental thing and then put lyrics on top of it. That actually at this point feels insane to me, because I don't even know like how many times a thing should go if there isn't some kind of a melody, or you know what I mean? That's one of the things that this contest, like people send something in and it's like, I'm like, how did you decide how many times this part goes? Like, why would it, if there's no top line, no lyrics, melody, or whatever, why should it go more than once? And if there is if there's going to be, how did you decide how many times it goes? Like, I don't know. That feels crazy to me. But for example, when we did Dread Machine at OEArt with Jared and Adam Neely and Stevie T, Sarah Longfield, Tyler from Music Is Win. Who else was there?
I think Glenn was there as well.
Glenn was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was engineering. Did I forget anybody? Yeah. Anyway, so because there were already 3 amazing guitar players, I was just like, okay, I guess I'll sing, because nobody else really sang that much, and I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll sing, and they came up with the track. And the only musical input that I had was like a little change in the chorus chords. But I basically top lined it. Like, this is in like pop and hip hop and stuff. There's like beats guys and there's top line guys, like separate folks. We'll say folks because a lot of them are ladies. But anyway, top line people, beats people. And for some reason, I mean, there are some people who do both, but there's some people who just make beats all day and some people who just take the beats and put top lines on them. That feels very weird to me, but this was an opportunity for me to just write lyrics and vocal parts on top of this mostly pre-made track. I mean, this was over the course of like 2 days we were doing this, so I had to do it pretty quick. And that turned out great. I'm extremely proud of that. That's, well, by a wide mile, the most popular piece of music I've ever been a part of by a lot. It's still going. I still make money, not a lot of money, but I still get like a okay check at the end of the year from Spotify from that. You know what I mean? Like, we still get tons of streams. And that was pretty unusual to me. That was an experiment for me. Like, I've done it before, but not, I don't know, that it felt weird to just write some lyrics. I don't know that. I'm trying to think if I've ever done the other thing of taking a whole song worth of like lyrics as almost like poetry and then putting. I don't think I can really do. I don't know if I can do that. I probably could, but I don't like to. I'll write like a bunch of stuff, like it's almost like word clouds or like just like sentence fragments, and it's actually a complete mess. Like, I'll have these like notes full of just like ideas and general thoughts about it with like phrases that I think sound cool that are related to it, and then I'll go in because maybe I'll be doing this when I don't have access to a guitar or whatever. So I'll be sitting there. Maybe I'm hearing some music with it, or maybe it just has a cool rhythmic flow to it. I think that's probably the most important thing to me is it's having words that have a nice, some kind of nice cadence or rhythm to it, because I don't like it when words are said awkwardly with weird emphasis on them. And for some reason, people like to think that they can sing in ways that you would never say words, you know? The Girl from Rio thing is, when you hear the song, you'll see what I mean. She says like the girl from Rio, like puts the emphasis on the O in Rio. You'd never be like, I'm going to Rio. I'm going down to Rio. Rio de Janeiro. Like, no, nobody says that. Anyway.
Yeah, well, you mentioned Christian contemporary music. Like, I play at churches, and that's something like Finland, we like have very small scene in that area, but there's been some like fairly popular acts who do that all the freaking time just to fit like certain type of sentence. It's so annoying, especially because Finnish is very like, there's so many like, it's very like consonant based. There's a lot of K's and S's and T's and stuff like that. And when you try to stretch those, no, it sounds so stupid. It's like somebody like, if you're playing it on like an LP, yeah, and somebody just like, if you're playing the song on the LP and somebody just put a finger on the disc for like a half a second. That's how it sounds to me all the time.
Oh my gosh! And so it's mostly in Finnish though. You guys, you don't do like David Crowder and.
No, not really.
Okay. I did. I ran a soundboard at a church for 5 years, and I have heard all of those songs and they're so bad. I mean, well, that's a whole that's a whole episode all in itself. But yes,
Might be.
yeah, because part of it is because it's not art. They're not making art to make art. Worship music is for a corporate experience for everybody to, together to do a thing. And it's not art, and it's definitely not good art. But like, yeah, so that kind of thing, like if it's worded awkwardly or something, it doesn't like seem to matter as much. I don't know. Of course, well, oh boy, I'm just gonna hold my tongue for a bit on that one. But yeah, that's basically, long story short, that irks me. And even though there's a lot of cool music out there where people do that kind of thing and it's fine, those kinds of aesthetic preferences for you as a songwriter will partly determine the outcome of your songs, And there was a metal band that sent in a song for me to critique on Friday, and they did that a lot. It was weird. They they were trying to at a certain part, trying to match the words and the syllables exactly to the rhythm of the guitar and the kick drum that was like hitting together. And the rhythm of it was really cool, but it made them emphasize really weird parts of the words. And it was so distracting to me that I was kind of like, okay, well, why did you have to do it like that? Like, well, doesn't that feel forced and weird? I don't know. But at least in my course, I'm like, look, like, you do whatever the fuck you want. You very much above and beyond anything else. What you should do is what you want to do, and what you're trying to have a message, musical or otherwise. Like, that's what art is. It's you're trying to get this message across in ways that you can't do just by grabbing somebody by the shoulders and telling them and yelling it at them. You know what I mean? Like, you're communicating something in an abstract form. And so your expression and what you're trying to say is number one, for sure. But if it sounds weird and awkward, people might not listen to it more than once, and then they won't necessarily get the message, as much as they would have otherwise. So I don't know. That's what I think.
Speaking of vocals, like, who are your favorite vocalists, and like, when you do your like vocal stuff, are there some like vocalists that you go, oh, okay, yeah, I've definitely taken that and that thing from that certain vocalist? Because I think I know some of your guitar influences. I have no idea who your vocal influences are.
Well, when it comes to vocals, I'm kind of a hack. Like, I took a lot of lessons, but I took them very late in life. Like, I didn't even really start seriously singing until I was like 27. Is that right? Like 26 or 27. Before that, I did a lot of like really shitty death metal growling. So I took lessons for like 5 or 6 years consistently, because I was sick and tired of trying to tell other people how to sing the songs that I was writing. And because I'm a gigantic narcissist and I want everybody to look at me. But my favorite singers are Russell Allen.
Oh yeah.
For sure, Jorn Lande. And then Elise from Amaranth is my favorite band, hands down. Like, full stop. Love Amaranth so much. And then they've got the triple vocal attack, death metal growls, like kind of like a power metal guy, and then Elise, who is Celine Dion but better and metal. She's the bomb. And I mean, I guess I can't really say that I've taken like a ton of influence from Elise because but just like, just in general, like super powerful, gritty vocals are what I like. It's the only thing I kind of can do at this point, along with with still kind of shitty death metal vocals. I mean, they've improved since I learned a bit of vocal control, a little bit of diaphragm power control.
You need that.
Just a lot of that stuff. And then like, I don't know. Who else what other singers do I love? Chris Cornell. See, same kind of thing. Just like tons of grit and power. It's the thing that I'm comfortable doing. I really want to be able to do lower dynamic level types of singing. I do it a little bit, but I want to be really good at it, and just to be able to do something different well, and because I want to be able to draw people in. Oh, Kamelot, Tommy from Kamelot, and Roy Khan too, but I actually, this is probably blasphemy, but I like Tommy better. But like the big round smooth singing at a lower dynamic level. Maybe the sound of her voice, but with a lot, but really like made me believe that you were her.
That song and those vocals
really
are like. Now that you mentioned that, it's crazy because he's very quiet, yet he's like, it's like, I think it's like from a musical almost, or like very musical, like you're singing quietly, but like it's still epic.
Yeah,
like, there's a huge like orchestra happening in the background. It shouldn't work, but it works really well. Rich, I'm going to send you a link to that song. You actually might enjoy those vocals quite a lot because.
Please do, because I have no idea what you're talking about at this point.
Yeah, he is freaking amazing. That was like. Yeah. What's the name of the album? That was like one of the biggest albums in my teens.
Yeah.
Is it Black Halo? No. What's it called? Damn it! I need to check.
I don't know. I can't remember.
That one. Anyway. But, yeah.
I'm working on having a wider dynamic range. And that's a lot. It's a lot because I haven't really had a good space to do it in without worrying about other people, So by the time I'm done with this new studio that's going to be all soundproofed and everything, I can be singing all the time. I think it's going to be a lot better. I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm really, really super duper sick and tired of doing the fucking work on this place. I am so shot today because I had to lift super heavy crap all day, and wow, I just want to play the damn guitar and write songs, and instead I'm a general contractor for myself because I'm too poor to pay anybody else to do it. And yeah,
the album was the Black Halo.
It was the Black Halo. Okay. Yeah. Is that Somewhere in Time?
Yeah. Or the song is called The Haunting, and the Somewhere in Time.
What is it called?
In the title. The song is called The Haunting, but in brackets it also says Somewhere in Time. So.
Yeah, that's because they never say The Haunting in the song, and they wanted to release it as a single.
That's true.
Do you have the song Somewhere in Time? Oh, do you mean The Haunting? Because that's what it's actually called.
The true fans
it's like
know.
It's like Green Day. What was it called? Time of Your Life in parentheses, but it's actually called whatever.
Good riddance.
Yeah. Good riddance. Thank you. Good riddance time of your life, because they never say good riddance in the song, but the producers were like, bro, this is going to be the biggest song you've ever done. Please, for the love of God, call the song the name of the chorus, like the chorus lyrics. And they were like, I'm an artist. It's called Good Riddance. And they were like, look, because I want to feed my children, we're going to put it in parentheses after. Okay. So that when people ask for it, they can have it. There you go. That was my 8th grade graduation song. It was
Nice.
like a fucking shitty like MIDI version of it that they found, and so they could transpose it into a key that 8th graders could sing it in.
Lovely.
It was like dang dang dang, like Guitar Pro. Oh boy. What was the question again?
Something about vocals, but yeah, I think
Green Day
quite extensively. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Dookie is the first album I ever owned. Actually, love that one. Another great example. Like last week, the title of the video that I put out was "Power Chords Are Not a Song," or no, that was just what it said on the thumbnail, and like 800 people are like, oh yeah, bro, but what about punk rock? What about punk bands? I'm like, yeah, they have lyrics and vocals and songs as well as power chords. I got a song that was just fucking power chords with no top line at all, no words, no singer, nothing. Green Day wrote great songs with basically just power chords. I was all about punk for a hot minute. Like proper fucking dirty underground punk bands, mostly like local Boston bands. Actually, there was one band that I was like obsessed with called the Pinkerton Thugs, and I was like 15, and I had no idea that they were straight up like a communist band. Like it was all like it was like working class, like fucking. Holy shit, dude. Like looking back on it, I'm like, oh my God. I was so I just thought they were cool, like cool punk songs. Got me all riled up and excited about issues that I had no idea what they really were. I was like, I'm from the suburbs. It was, yeah. And then basically, like I started playing guitar. And then within like 6 months, I could play like every punk song that I heard. And I was like, oh, okay, what else you got? And then it was metal. And here we are.
Many years later, we still can play everything we want to.
Plus, I'm looking at my watch to see the year. Please do the math for me. What year? How long ago was that? If I was 15? Oh my God, it's 22 years. I turned 37 last month. Oh. Thought I was going to be a rock star by now.
Still time.
Well,
I hope so. Putting out an album this year, so. Oh,
so are you doing an album with your band or like, yeah?
Yes. It's done. It's
Nice.
It's done. In the sense that it is yet unmastered, but we're waiting.
About to ask, any singles dropping out? Like,
well, actually, there's been 2 singles out, Purgatory
sure.
and Where the Edges Meet, both of our music videos that are available on the In Virtue Music channel, YouTube channel, are actually both singles from this album, which is outrageous because I think we put out Purgatory 3 years ago now, thinking that. Well, the problem, of course, is that initially we were not going to do an album. It was going to be an EP and or just a series of singles. And then for some reason we decided to do an album. And now here we are. Finally. And it's like, I think there's going to be 16 tracks. 16 tracks. There's like an intro, like a little 30-second orchestral intro that's a track. It doesn't count as a song really. And then like a short outro and but yeah, probably 14-ish proper songs. And it was a labor of love and a lot of time and a lot of money. And we've actually shot 3 more music videos that will be out when I finish editing them. But yeah, the band is in Virtue. Did I say that already?
Yeah, I think you've gotten a few shout outs from me over the years.
Oh, thank you.
I think we did a shout out. You played the riff from the first 42 Gear Street, so that's almost 2 years ago already.
Wow.
Yeah. Time flies.
Damn.
There's like a year and a half gap between anything happening. Like, oh, what was I doing last year this time? Nothing.
Nothing. Oh my God. It just feels crazy. Like so many, what actually is kind of funny. There was a time where I was like starting to get kind of like, I feel like I'm doing the same thing every year. Like, my calendar is already like filling up before the year even starts because I know I'm going to go to these events. I wasn't like that bummed about it, but I guess it just felt kind of, I don't know, like, oh, all right, well, I know I'm going to go do this thing at this time every year until I'm dead. Like, when, I don't know. Something about that felt endless and whatever. And then 1 year without it, and I'm a wreck.
Yeah.
So I learned my lesson on that. I'm like, yeah, great. Let's do it every year. Whatever it takes. I didn't even know how much I missed it, until it wasn't there. Oh my God. Like I didn't get to go on the boat this year. I've been going on 70,000 tons of metal. I think 2020, which it was like the cruise and then NAMM and then the pandemic. But I think that was my 5th one at the beginning of 2020. So, and then it didn't happen this year. They haven't announced it yet for next year, but like, holy shit. It was like this hole in my heart. It's usually full of boat. That's the greatest thing. Have you guys, first of all, have you ever been on a cruise?
Yes, but not like a music festival one.
Yeah. Rich?
I've been on many boats, but never on a rock-themed cruise, no.
Are there indie cruises happening anywhere in the
cruises? World? There's gotta
be pretty sweet if there were. I would do one for sure. In fact, I'm pretty sure there is, and it might be in the North Sea. Like
sounds like it could
bands
work.
like Bell and Sebastian do it, but yeah,
that sounds
not as fun as 70,000 tons of metal.
Well,
is it?
I mean, I think it's the greatest thing in the fucking universe. I watched. This was the peak of all of the ones that I've been on. I sat in a hot tub with a chocolate milkshake and watched Arch Enemy on the top deck, like while Jeff Loomis is just fucking obliterating, just like me, like doing like a chocolate Ben and Jerry's milkshake in my bathing suit in a hot tub. I was like, yep, not getting any better than this. This is the greatest. This is the best thing. It was
just as a concept, it's just like, because cruises for me are like, I don't know, Finland, you go from like Finland to Sweden, it's, I don't know, 200 kilometers, so it's not even like a long trip, but I just go very slowly, so it lasts the whole night. Just because.
Oh yeah.
And actually they also do like a stop on a small island in between. Like as a concept, it's just so silly, but I mean, doing that sounds, I'd go both on the indie cruise and the 70 tons of metal cruise. Sign me up.
I'd do an indie cruise.
A live stream cruise, Trey, where you just stream it.
Stream the whole thing.
and then everyone goes to bed, and then you get up and do it again.
The problem is that the internet connection sucks so badly. I actually tried to do a little bit of a stream on one once, and it just even off my phone, it wasn't happening. That sounds like a hoot, though. I saw Kamelot the year that it was Kamelot and Amaranth played, and Kamelot played on the top deck. Actually, I think it was the same year because Arch Enemy was there also, because I saw Kamelot and they had Elise and Elisa come on and do guest vocals. That's one of the best concerts I've ever seen in my life. It was so good. Oh my God. I love Kamelot so much. They're probably my favorite live band, actually. There's something about the show they put on really sucks you in. Anyway, it was and it was on a boat in the middle of the Caribbean.
Oh boy.
What's the one between Florida and the islands?
Florida and what?
The Atlantic. No. Oh,
Yeah, but it's like,
is the sound good on a boat? Like,
Oh, that's a good question.
I mean, it's fine. Like, how do you spell Caribbean? There we go. The Caribbean man. Yeah, the Caribbean Sea. Because we went to, like, one year we went to Cuba. One year we went to, oh, come on, zoom in. Oh, good. The fuck else did we go? We went to Haiti. Yeah, Turks and Caicos. Bahamas. Yeah, that's right. It's Caribbean Sea. The sound is fine. So there's actually 4 venues, 4 maybe 5 venues throughout the boat. There's like a theater. There's a little kind of like more like a club vibe. Yeah, and then the top deck is of course outside. It's more like you go to a festival or something, like an outdoor stage. And none of the sound is amazing. And they actually, from what I've heard from the bands, they don't really get like much of a sound check. It's a lot of like, okay, here we go, and there's a lot, they have to share a lot of the backline stuff just because there's only so much shit that you can bring on the boat. Like there's just not enough space. So they're like sharing cabs and sometimes heads and all that kind of shit. But it's so much fun that you don't really care that much. Sometimes there have been a couple times when the sound was fucking terrible. I was very bummed because I watched Septic Flesh, who is another band that I love dearly. And they did not sound good, through no fault of their own, I'm sure. That's an incredibly sick band. If you like orchestral music, like soundtrack, movie scores and that kind of shit, it's like super sick death metal plus amazing orchestration. I think they have the best orchestration out of any metal band. Like I think it's better than Nightwish, better than at least as good, if not often better than Dimmu Borgir. But they're from Greece. Good story. Anyway, the boat is the best. It's the best thing. If you can swing it at least once in your life,
Yeah.
do it. It's
Which one of our
it's worth it.
Which one of our goals should be CatPick Fridays live from a boat?
Yeah, if they have
And like
the
a festival.
connection. I tried
Yeah.
to get on these cruises before because we used to ship a lot of H&K gear out for them, because you'd have bands like Annihilator and the Kiss cruise. Obviously, Tommy Thayer was on that and played his H&K stuff all the time, and the acoustic amps as well. But they just never had the money for me to actually go out there and do stuff. Would have been amazing because it would have been free as well.
Yeah.
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 But like very soon CatPick Fridays will be making tons of money. So we just ship ourselves there.
There you go.
Okay.
Well,
Wow.
this episode you're gonna have me on, and that's gonna bring they'll just throw the money at you. I'm
yeah,
here.
exactly. Like up
Could-
to 3 more subs to the channel and
Give Vlad and Rich your money. Do it.
yep.
Do it. Buy a shirt. Buy a CatPick shirt.
Do we have shirts?
we don't have CatPick Friday shirts, but we have
You
CatPick
have
Studio
shirts. Yeah,
shirts.
yeah, buy Vlad shirts.
Hello there.
I'm actually about to release like a summer edition shirt that will hopefully sell well. We'll see.
I can't sell merch to save my fucking life. Can you believe that? I made a disqualified shirt. People were like, "Bro, make a disqualified shirt." I was like, "Okay," and I did it. And nobody fucking bought one.
Yeah, it's like people think they want it, then they're like, "Give us what we want," and then you give it, and like, nope.
People are like shocked at how much a t-shirt costs. Like, if I want to make like $4 on a t-shirt, it has to be like $27 or something. And they're just like,
really?
I gotta buy weed with that, or like whatever. And I'm like, you said you wanted it. I made it happen. All I want is
the days
$4.
of $10 band shirts are gone, unfortunately.
If you're printing them and selling them at a show, you can do that. But like, I'm not gonna get into textiles. Like, I just want to make music, so I outsource that to somebody who, you know, one of these companies that like prints them on demand. Because that's, yeah, like, dude, Glenn used to like get his shirts printed and then ship them out himself. I was like, why would you ever do that? But he actually sells them. Like, people buy his t-shirts, so I mean, I guess that could be worth it. But I don't know. I'm not a good t-shirt salesman. That's probably does not bode well for me being in a band, because most bands are traveling black t-shirt salesmen. Oh, we lost Rich. Your cans went out.
Phones died.
I can save this.
Yeah.
Oh, quickly mute his
Rich is a
camera for a
professional.
second. No.
Look at
it's
that.
back.
Seamless. Yeah, so if you have the means, really any kind of cruise is pretty spectacular. Like, I mean, a concert cruise is amazing because there's like something that, like, there's a band. At least, I mean, I've only been on 2 different ones. Like I said, I've been on 70K like 5 times, but before that I went on Axes and Anchors. It's cool because there's pretty much always music happening, but you don't have to go see it. You know, you don't always. It's like you have the schedule, and bands are playing at different venues at different times, usually from like noon till like 5 in the morning or something. But you can also just like go somewhere there isn't music. You can go take a nap, go like do some of the weird like climbing things, or there's like a bungee jump. Not a bungee jump. It's like they got like bungee cords attached to you, and you just jump straight up and down. That's pretty fun. With what are they called? Like 3D VR goggles. That's a new thing that they added. That was cool.
Oh.
And there's water slides now too. That's awesome. And then you just can stuff your face like as much as you want. There's just food all the time. There's a bunch of different places you can get delicious food. I just want to live there. I just wanted to. The first time I did it, I was like, "You're gonna have to point a gun at me to get me off of this boat." Like, I want to live here now. It's so much fun. But it's only 4 days.
I want to go on a boat now. Thanks.
You're welcome. I dream about it sometimes, straight up.
I dream on being on a boat. Huh? Sounds nice. Sounds nice. So that's one of our goals. CatPick Fridays on a boat. I think the most realistic version is like we get something like sad little boat somewhere where we get to shoot for like 5 minutes
on a pond in Finland. Yeah,
yeah, pretty much.
You guys freezing your tits off on a tiny little boat in Finland.
Yeah, most likely.
If there's even water and not ice.
Yeah, it was supposed to be the only warm day during the summer, and even that didn't happen. Why is it snowing? That's the most likely scenario. Guys, we've been going for 2.5 hours.
Yeah, my
well done,
my
us.
earphones died. That's never happened before. So well done, Trey. But this for you has been a very short stream, hasn't it?
Yeah,
2.5
that's nothing.
hours. Like it's nothing.
Yeah.
My ass
He's
barely
warmed up.
hurts.
Do you ever pee during those live streams?
I was
I
about
do.
to ask
I
that.
pause the stream first,
Ah.
and then yeah, actually, I do. I eat on the stream. I don't take a dinner break. I sit there and I order my dinner, and then I eat it while I'm talking, like mukbang style, you know.
Yeah.
And I like
Yeah.
actually that's another T-shirt that I've just made but have not released yet. Trey Xavier eats. That's another one people demanded that I make a T-shirt. Let's see if I sell even one. But Trey Xavier eats. But yeah, I take little breaks. I have a little I have a couple little like break screens that just show in Virtue music videos. So the people will have something to watch.
That's a way to do it. At least you're not like using a wireless lav mic and then you just go to the bathroom
Bring
or
it up,
something.
yeah.
Like,
They'll listen to me pee.
that'd be a classic.
I
thing to
did
do.
take a phone call from Sarah Longfield and didn't properly mute the stream so they could hear me like oh hey, what's going on? Like I had to go in and delete that part of the stream afterwards. Not because like I think I thought that she was calling me because she was watching the stream and she was gonna like say something funny, and then she was just asking for, like real questions, and I was like, oh wait, okay, hang on. Anyway, it was funny. The stream is wild. It's off the rails all the time. Every $100 I roll a little or I have a little like wheel and I randomly choose a new hat. Like I have some of them here. This one's new. Get this beer helmet. A pirate hat. Hold on. This one's a favorite. Drunk wine mom. Like,
Yeah, I could see that.
can I get one? Play me something we can dance to. It's really stupid, but that's what I do for 10 hours on Friday. This week I'm gonna have to do it sitting right here.
So this is a
Glamorous lives
preview.
of the
then.
YouTubers. Yeah, that's what it is. So anybody watching this who doesn't know who Trey is at this point, go to Gear Gods on Friday at 10 o'clock Pacific time and watch Trey live stream for 10 hours.
1 o'clock Pacific time, 1 p.m.
1 p.m. Pacific time. Watch him critiquing songs, doing other stupid shit, and wearing a bunch of different hats. Vlad and I will be asleep at that point, I guess, but we'll tune in on Saturday when we wake up or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
most likely.
you know, I'll probably still be going when you wake up. Maybe not.
Might be.
Well, this was awesome. I love doing this. Thank you
Yeah,
so much
thanks
for having me
for
on.
coming on. It was a lot of fun. I think I don't know if Vlad learnt a lot because he does songwriting too on a high level, but I learnt very much and I enjoyed asking my questions. And I would have many more questions, but you know, we'll have to get you back on at some point.
Yeah,
Maybe on the,
we'll
on
do
the Finland
part 2.
cruise, we'll get a rowing boat for free and we'll put you opposite us and we'll ask you more questions.
I'll be stuck in the boat in the middle of the Finnish river.
Yeah.
Be like,
On the
you,
fjord.
Yeah, they're like
you get
that's
to
the
drive,
kind of
you
cruise.
answer our songwriting question.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
man.
that's the kind of cruise you get like a small boat on the river. This is like I like there's like one drunk guy playing guitar on the beach somewhere or something like that. That's our version of the whole thing.
Oh my god.
Really looking forward to that. So
Yeah, dude. Well, I'll send you my songwriting course if you send me yours.
I will.
Yours is
Songwriting course
actually
is
out
chain.
now.
Yes, I've
So-
even sold some. So
Hell
that's
yeah!
progress.
Everybody go the different. So the reason that people should buy yours instead of mine is because yours exists right now.
It
Mine
helps.
is coming, but you can't get it now.
Doesn't-
You should get Vlad's because you can get it right now at the link in the description.
Yes, and there's a nice discount code as well.
Ah.
Only for CatPick Fridays listeners.
Wow,
Lucky bastard.
exclusive.
Yes.
Super exclusive.
Amazing. Nobody's ever done that before. I'm a true trailblazer or something
Holy
like
shit.
that.
That's a great idea, Vlad. I'm going to use that idea.
I grant you permission to use it, but exclusively only for you.
Yes.
Discount code disqualified.
That's true. I'm so going to use that. Absolutely, I'm going to use that. It just makes so much sense. And everyone, as always, links below to everything we've talked about here in the description. I'm even probably going to link the Kamelot song just because like it's a good one.
It's a really good one.
It is really good. So yeah, thank you, Trey. Thank you, Rich. Thanks you. Like, share, subscribe, all the YouTube things. And for Trey, we have like a very stupid way of ending the show by saying bye podcast. So let's do that all together.
Bye
now.
podcast. Like
Bye podcast.
Bye, podcast.
Okay, is there a countdown or did we just do it?
I think we just did it.
Oh,
Should we do it on 3?
okay.
Let's try to do it on
Do
3.
after 3
One.
or on 3?
Let's do 1, 2, 3,
2,
and then
3, bye podcast. Got it.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Bye,
Bye,
podcast.
Podcast. In 3 different time zones.